As soon as the microphone was given to, at the podium, Caitlin Clark, with no one in. What did that crowded audience anticipate? What would come next? The WNBA's biggest star, who has previously shattered all records. Something unthinkable was about to shatter. More potent still, the quiet that has encircled women's athletics for decades.
That's not something that's up for negotiations anymore. It's like you must have that if you want to frame.
What began as a standard prize, ceremonial, soon become a moment that would reverberate throughout the sports world. Past and future. The words that emerged didn't simply lead the audience to their feet in roaring cheers. They inspired a whole generation to take action. How could a basketball player respond, though? That would depart from experienced athletes. Fans and businessmen are shedding tears from their eyes. The subsequent speech would call into question all we believe we understand: the force and success of sports, of doing something with your platform bigger than you are. The scene was already historic at the time Caitlin Clark took the initiative to accept her WNBA, the league's Rookie of the Year award. November 2024, yearly awards ceremony. The gathering took place in a crowded location in New York City, hosted the largest names in sports and women's basketball. Media, as well as business sponsors who saw the season that changed the most in the history of the WNBA. The presence of Clark at the podium represented more than a single person accomplishment. It represented the coming of a new era for women in the workforce. Athletics. Clark's first campaign in 2024 had broke expectations and changed the record books in manners that appeared to not possible. She scored 19.2 points on average, 5.7 rebounds and 8.4 assists per game, as he guided the Indiana Fever to victory. Participation in the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Among the statistical accomplishments were establishing new rookie assist records. 337, 122 three-pointers were made, and becoming the league's first rookie to achieve a triple-double in history.
As Melissa Smith went to the line and did in fact complete the three.
The effects of Clark's commercial presence went beyond basketball, as her matches frequently attracted more than 1 million people who watched television and regularly sold out stadia around the league. Season ticket for the Indiana Fever sales rose by more than 400%, and the squad switched from playing in smaller locations that sell out the same arena used by the Indiana Pacers of the NBA. The financial revolution was changes in the professional lives of women. History of sports. The crowd that evening included WNBA icons such as Diana Taurasi, alongside Sue Bird and Maya Moore, celebrities of today like Yo Wilson, as well as Brianna Stewart, business executives, public figures, and youthful admirers who were motivated by. The rest was filled by Clark's adventure. Seats.
It was kind of like a new season, a new change, but everyone just...
The varied group of people symbolized the wide alliance that Clark's accomplishments had created in relation to women's basketball. Queries emerge regarding the times when Clark may have been ready for his rookie season, for public speaking of this kind, possibility, and if her college encounter in Iowa, where she became at ease with intensive media attention, influenced her capacity to interact with such a vast and powerful audience. As soon as Clark started speaking, she said her first words right away attracted the attention of the room by not recognizing her own accomplishments. However, the female generations who had established the framework that enabled her for success to be achievable. She talked about pioneers of the WNBA who performed in little arenas, very little money while keeping other employment, building the infrastructure for the league. It allowed her to become well-known and monetary achievement. The heart of the main theme of her speech was accountability. It is both her duty to utilize her platform sensibly and the group accountability of each individual present to guarantee that the advancements gained during she would have a lengthy rookie season. Following the conclusion of her playing career, she contested league officials, sponsors, media representatives and supporters to uphold their dedication to basketball for women. Even when her personal celebrity power may diminish, the combination of Clark's delivery, sincere feeling with particular appeals to action.
It was really fun, and Taylor's obviously amazing, and I think just
as she described specific actions that various stakeholders might adopt, encourage the growth of women's sports. She discussed media attention, urging constant focus on women's basketball all season long, instead of only during playoff runs or performances that broke records. What she said carried weight due of their origins. An individual whose presence has essentially changed the commercial environment for sports. Slowly, the standing ovation started as Clark talked about her teammates and coaches who had helped her make the change to playing basketball professionally. The cheers increased in volume as she praised the opponents who had encouraged her to become well while preserving the level of competition. It makes basketball for ladies convincing.
very kind, caring person. You can really feel that. And
However, the event that brought the audience stood up when she changed emphasis from basketball to more general influence in society. Legal professionals observe that professional athletes' public remarks have grown to be venues for tackling social concerns and promoting for systemic transformation, mirroring the athlete activism's development and the acknowledgement that athletes have special capacity to sway public opinion. Exchanges of policy and opinion. Clark's remarks on equality in sports struck a chord all over the auditorium while she spoke about how she grew up watching basketball on TV and daydreaming about playing professionally while realizing that the financial and media coverage that men may access athletes were significantly better than she could anticipate in women's athletics. Her individual tale evolved into a more comprehensive analysis of gender parity and the significance of generating prospects for the future generations. The basketball star utilized her position to speak to young females watching from home and in the audience, motivating them to follow their athletic aspirations while highlighting the value of education and acquiring abilities outside of athletics. Her speech struck a mix between motivation and realism, recognizing the difficulties that female athletes encounter when expressing hope that things will change. Chances. She talked about connections between teammates and competition. Respect received special praise from audience members who are also participants. Clark talked about gaining knowledge from warriors who saw her at first as a danger to their recognition and playing time, but she eventually accepted her achievement as advantageous to the league as a whole. These relationships had changed over her first season, since early conflicts gave path to cooperation and respect for one another. There was particular acknowledgement in the speech. Those admirers who had accepted women's basketball in her first season. Many of them were taking part in the sport. For the first time, Clark admitted that keeping fans interested would demand ongoing excellence from everyone, players, and continuous attempts to make activities that are both enjoyable and accessible for various audiences. Executives from corporations. All sponsors were given direct recognition for their elevated funding for women's basketball. However, additionally, Clark pushed them to uphold their assistance throughout the unavoidable declines in performance or attentiveness.
I've said Kansas City would be a great spot for a team. I've never actually played.
Her remarks were really significant, due to the fact that her presence has produced unprecedented income and publicity that was advantageous to the league as a whole ecosystem. One must question what discussions Clark may have had with mentors, coaches, or seasoned athletes prior to the event that affected her choice to concentrate on communal accountability as opposed to personal accomplishments. The ramifications could imply that she spoke with maturity, awareness of her place in women's basketball's past and her responsibility to using her position to make a bigger difference. The speech's emotional high point was when she mentioned her grandfather's impact on her basketball career and his focus on leveraging success to assist others accomplish their own objectives. Her personal narrative that engages the listener, those that were aware of the family sacrifices and networks of support that facilitate athletic success at the greatest levels. Clark's attempt to members of the media received a lot of applause when she demanded full coverage of basketball for women that goes beyond her personal games and performances.